Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition. It's a Monday edition, December the 9th edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We'll have JC here momentarily. If you missed it last night, the Chiefs win again. That's what they do. Good teams find ways to win, and they are finding ways to win, not playing great offense, can't block anybody, but they got the best player in the world leading their team, so that helps. A lot of good stuff. We'll talk about the 12-team playoff. Gators are going to Tampa to the Gasparilla Bowl, which makes sense. I don't know why we all sat here and thought it was going to be like the Gator or one of these major, not major, but bigger bowls. We went 7-5, so it's about right. Tulane's quarterback is already opted out. He's in the portal. A lot of people are in the portal. It opens today. JC, you're on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's up?
I was kind of underwhelmed by the Gasparilla Bowl. It's not Florida,
but it makes sense.
It does. It's not the Gators' fault. It makes sense. I was really hoping for the Gator Bowl. I guess they decided that they wanted somebody else. But
it wasn't they. I saw a good article, and I didn't read it all. I probably should have. But it had a lot to do just where the teams fell in order due to Alabama missing the playoffs. So now Alabama being 9-3, South Carolina being 9-3, and Ole Miss being 9-3. They got to take the top three bowls, which is Citrus, Outback, or whatever it's called now, and Gator. So that's why everybody else is stuck with the others.
Okay, got it. Yeah, at least it wasn't Birmingham, Alabama on a cold, cloudy, rainy day. There's so much to start with. I don't know where we go. We could start with, I guess we could start with the selection show that was yesterday at noon, and nobody, I think, was really that surprised. I certainly don't think that the Alabama fans should be bitching that much. Listen, Southern Methodist University was so overwhelmed at the beginning of that game in the ACC. And then when they settled in, you saw why they have won as many games as they have. And in spite of their schedule, which is absolute joke, and which I think we're going to start talking about some different scheduling, especially for these SEC teams going forward. But in spite of their schedule, and in spite of Boise State's schedule, and in spite of a lot of these schedules, the record is what the folks wanted in that room. And Southern Methodist, look, you can't penalize a team losing by 3 on a 56-yard field goal in their championship game. They were in a no-win situation, QB, in that situation. If they take Alabama, everybody's upset. If they take SMU, then you're telling a team with the 6th hardest schedule in the country that it wasn't good enough. But you are telling that team that because they lost to a team that was 6-6, and they did it twice. So I'm fine with what happened, and I think it's right. And I do believe that Arizona State should be a team with a bye, and they are. And I think you've got a playoff that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm not that worked up about it, and I think that we're going to see some really exciting football. Although I will say, if I'm the number 1 seeded Oregon Ducks, knowing that I've got to play either Ohio State or Tennessee in their first game is not an ideal situation. But everybody with QB, everybody in this 12-team playoff is capable of winning it. So I think
everybody except Indiana.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
And listen, the Notre Dame Indiana game will be a nice local game for them. But look at Penn State's road. Penn State and Texas. They have, I would say, much easier paths if things work out for them than, say, Oregon does. And that's funny how that seeding works out because Penn State and Texas lost. And yet they're going to get a home game against Clemson as an 11-point favorite, Texas will. And Penn State's going to get a home game against, help me out real quick.
SMU,
who just got beat by Clemson and has to go play up north. Listen, I think it's going to work out where we see probably the top teams win it in the early rounds, and then we're going to see the Georgia Bulldogs, the Arizona State Sun Devils, and the Oregon Ducks and the Boise State Broncos. So.
Yeah, Tony says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, sounded like Memphis was in play per Twitter, but no one would have gone. Yeah, they were talking about the Gators going to the Liberty Bowl. I'd heard we could have gone and
That'd been fun.
we could have played with the Ducks at the Peabody and gone to Graceland.
And gone to eat ribs at
Yeah.
the Rendezvous on Beale
Yeah.
Street. So
Tony also says they need to just take the 12 best teams and not have predetermined seeding. Do the seeds when they announce the field like the NCAA tournament? Possibly.
what do you think about what the AD said at Alabama about scheduling in the future? And Nick Saban mentioned it too. Alabama's scheduled to play Ohio State, Notre Dame, and a couple other big shot teams. And where does that get you? Apparently, according to this committee, it's more about deserving than maybe best. And I'm not so sure that it's really helpful to play these hard out of conference games. So then somebody says, well, JC, Alabama and Georgia played a lot of weak teams out of conference, but Alabama also had to travel to Wisconsin. Alabama's got trips to Notre Dame. Alabama's got this. Alabama's got that. Do you think that's going to matter? I mean, do you think they're going to start scheduling weaker opponents? SEC is not going to go to 9 games.
I don't know if they really will, because you got to remember, the fans were raising hell all those years played the cupcakes. So I don't know what's going to happen. But Brian's got a question here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Do y'all think conference champions should get an automatic bid? If it is supposed to be the top 12 teams, then why should Clemson be in and Alabama not? Alabama's ranked ahead of Clemson. I'm a 1,000% behind the conference champ getting in. It's no different than the NCAA tournament, basketball tournament, right?
I agree.
Now, if you want to expand it to get more teams in, I'm fine with that too. Go to 24 like FCS does. But
Or 16.
by having your conference champ get an automatic bid, that means winning your conference matters, and you're going to play. I mean, every game matters within your conference, if that makes any sense. So,
No, I mean, why have conferences
Yeah.
if it doesn't matter who wins them? That's always going to be the case. It's always going to be the case. But I think the games that we've had in the past where we had these big cross-sectional games, those may start to dwindle. I don't know, unless they do something with the playoff format. But I think we're going to be all right. I mean, listen, it's a 12-team tournament. We're going to have games that are going to be worth watching. I just don't know about the way it was seeded, because again, Oregon didn't get any favors, knowing that they're going to have to play Ohio State maybe for the 3rd straight time, and Penn State's going to be playing SMU, a loser in the ACC game, with the 60th hardest schedule in the country. Okay, but Penn State's not getting a bye, but everybody gets a bye because nobody's playing next weekend. So in a way, they're getting a bye. The only game this weekend is Army and Navy, QB, and Army's winning that, by the way.
hey, so I saw, everybody, when they're trying to decide who should deserve to get in or whatever, how everybody goes, well, Vegas says that Alabama would be a 12-point favorite over Indiana. They'd be this point. So somebody responding goes, well, Alabama was a total 38-point favorites over Vanderbilt and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
That's right. How did that work out? Listen, listen, they had a hard schedule. They won some big games, but it seems like people were more focused on the games they lost rather than on the games they won. And let's face it, they played Missouri without Missouri's quarterback. Missouri did not have their quarterback. That was a good win, but it was not the Missouri team that everybody else had to play. Here's some stats and facts for you, QB. Indiana, who's in the playoffs, has played one team with a winning record all year. One team, QB. They've played one team with a winning record all year. That would be your Washington Huskies. Notre Dame hasn't played a true road game since week 3. That's when they traveled at Purdue, and Purdue was 1-9, worst team in the country. Boise State's last 8 games were against teams with 4 wins or less. That was their last 8 games, 4 wins or less. Texas has 2 wins over teams with winning records, Colorado State and Vandy. Texas has 2 wins with teams that have winning records, Colorado State and Vandy. 2 wins over teams with winning records.
It's not their fault, though. That's what their schedule is, though. I want to get to the SEC championship game here, because I thought Texas could have easily been up 21-0, and the game would have been over. But Georgia does what the Chiefs do. they find ways to win games.
Yeah, the resiliency of Georgia is there. I mean,
It's
you saw it
unbelievable.
last 2 weeks, they shouldn't have beat Georgia Tech, and they did. And then, of course, I mean, literally with 6 minutes to go in Athens, people were walking out of the stadium against Georgia Tech. They were leaving the stadium, but they won. And then here we have last week, Saturday, Texas. How many chances in the red zone, QB? How many chances? How do you?
So many.
How do you keep them out of the end zone? It's because you've got that winning DNA. He's got something that I don't think any of these other 12 teams have yet, and that is they have chemistry inside of them. They have that winning DNA because guess what, QB? They have lost 4 games since 2021. 4 games, Georgia. They're 52-4.
Yeah.
Who are the 2 teams? The only 2 teams that beat them?
Alabama
and
Texas.
Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss.
Oh,
Texas didn't beat them. No, they beat Texas twice this year. You're right.
Twice. Beat them twice.
Yeah.
2 teams have beaten Georgia in 3 years. And they've won 52 out of 56 games. That is a winning DNA.
So somebody just asked, I'm trying to do multiple things here, like I do every show. No. Do you start? I don't know what the status of Carson Beck is.
His arm is messed up.
I would think he's done. I really do, because when you have that much torque going forward and your arm stops, I feel like he tore something. Gunnar Stockton lit a spark because of his running ability. I wouldn't say he really completed any passes that make you go, okay, he's pretty good. He threw a bunch of wide receiver screens and scrambled.
But he's tough, man.
They got the winning DNA. So.
They got the winning DNA. And this guy Stockton is the hit he took, which was legal. I don't know how he got up. QB, his right leg was back.
It was perfectly legal hit.
Yeah. And his right leg was behind his back and his head was up in the space. And he could have played the next play. That's just amazing, that kid. Georgia's just different makap right now, and that's going to be a tough
ways to win games.
That's going to be a tough team to bet against. They're playing in the Sugar Bowl, man. Geez, I like it.
All right, so text on the Titan More text line, Gator guy. He says, thoughts about playing a bowl game at Friday at 3:30, a work day. I've seen most Gator fans very disappointed with this. It's a lower bowl played on a work day, played at a bad time, right in the middle.
PTO.
Recruits will be watching.
PTO. It's 5 days before Christmas. Use 8 hours. Spend the 8 hours. Come on.
Well, here's the only thing I can say is
come on.
The Gators, the UAA, none of these people have any control over this.
They do not.
Zero.
They have zero control.
Zero.
Hey, at least it's not a noon kickoff in Tampa. Okay. I mean, you got some time to enjoy the day. Outside Raymond James Stadium, which is a fun place, man. It's a fun place to go. I think there's lots of rooms for tailgating. You're going to play Tulane. I get it. It's not Michigan, but go out there and have fun and watch them win their 8th game of the year and watch your future blossom, because he's going to play. Lagway's going to play hard. And I think this is a great look. I know it's not what we're accustomed to, but guess what? We were doing this around here last year at this time, QB. We were watching everybody else play a bowl game.
Somebody wanted you to know, JC, Texas beat us and we had a winning record.
Texas beat Florida. Yeah, okay. Maybe I missed that stat, but I got this stat off Chris Felica. I would think he knows what he's talking about. Texas has 2 wins over teams with winning records. And then, Florida had a winning record. You're right. So
call the Bear and tell him he's wrong.
The Bear's wrong. But I will tell you, 6 of Texas's 8 SEC games this year are against teams in the bottom 7 of the SEC standings. They got a break on the scheduling, and they also got a break that Florida's down. But they're going to come to Gainesville next year against a much better Florida team. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Ron wants to know if you will be attending both the Gasparilla and the ReliaQuest Bowl.
I will not. Thank you, though. Listen, Baran, I mean, I'm trying to say it's worth going to. It's worth burning 8 hours for PTO, and then on the other side of my cheek, I'm saying, but I'm not going, and it's okay. I mean,
I'm only going because I got to go call the game.
You're working. I mean, this is your job, right, QB?
I'd rather watch it on TV, quite honestly.
Oh,
Electronics World, integration and design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Go check them out at electronicsworld.net. By the way, for all the people that are going to be traveling to the Gasparilla Bowl, and if you're going to be going from north of Tampa, traveling down I-75 or what have you, go to Florida Cracker on your way down. Go have a good meal.
not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Okay, so back to the championship games, JC.
Yeah.
I thought Texas blew it in the first half. The game should have been over.
They blew it.
They should have blown. I mean, they dominated the football game.
They did.
But give Georgia credit.
Got a great defense.
As you mentioned earlier, Clemson jumped all over SMU, and I'd be dang if they didn't make it a game. And
that's what got them in. That second half got them in and kicked Alabama out. Otherwise, they would not have taken SMU. It was their effort in the second half that got them in. It showed that maybe they can play at this level because they looked like they were overwhelmed and not in the right place in that first half.
Yeah, and then Boise takes care of UNLV, which was a very physical football game. I don't know if you saw any of that, JC. I watched a lot of it. If you were a Heisman voter, who would you vote for?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's three guys I have right now on my list: Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty, and the one who's going to win it. So
I don't know if he's going to win it now.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I've seen a lot of or heard a lot of people talk about, okay, and I don't know if this is fair, but if you put Genty on Colorado's team and you put Travis Hunter on Boise's team, Boise ain't where they are.
100%. But
he's run for more yards, I think, than anybody in college football history in a year. Is that right or no?
I don't know if he's over Herschel, but we'll have to look it up. Somebody will look it up and let us know.
I don't think Herschel had the most yards in the season.
Boise State is playing Nevada. They are playing Idaho State.
Dude, he ran all over the Oregon Ducks.
He did run all over the Oregon Ducks. He did. But so did those two kids for Penn State, QB. But I get it. He's amazing. He's an amazing player, and they have a chance to win a championship. So, give them their credit. But my God, these schedules these teams play, it's just not balanced. And I'm not going to bitch about it because I know how it works. Not everybody has the same luck. So you just go with what you got. That's the way.
Yeah. So we'll see, but I think he's a really good player.
He's a really good player.
Mark wants to know how well does Tulane travel. It'll probably be like the USF game, one side full. They ain't going to show up. I'm going to tell you that right now. Their quarterback ain't playing.
You know who is going to show up? Eli Badger's going to play in this game for the Gators.
Yeah.
And we're going to have guys that want to be playing football. This is not the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago with Dan Mullen. I love it. I think it's going to be a great day for Florida football. 8 wins, beat Tulane, a team that's lost 2 straight games. They look bad. They don't have the quarterback. It should be a happy day. It should be. It really should be. I think.
Oh, yeah. Is that true? Kevin tells me here on the Titan Mar text line, the day the Gators play, the 20th, that Friday, is the first day of the playoffs. Is that true?
Yes.
What time is the first game?
The first game's at night, and it will be Notre Dame and Indiana, which is where I was going to go. But American Airlines got the old refundable ticket button pushed. I'm not going, but that's the first game. It's Indiana, Notre Dame at night. Florida's at 3:30. So, QB, when you get done, you're just going to have to plug in and watch the playoff game.
Well,
bus ride home.
Our game, I'm not driving the bus. I'm self-supporting, putting gas in my vehicle myself.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not riding the bus for this.
Okay.
I don't. I got things to do.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. But well, where's your tea time on Thursdays? What I want to know: are you playing the Snake, or what are you going to do? You going to go to Old Mo?
Yeah. If you don't we got options. There's options. This
guy's been calling you to play Old Mo for a year and a half.
Oh, I forgot about Old Mo. Yeah.
Come on, call him up. He's waiting for you to get down there.
Yeah, but the problem
I might even go down there and play with you.
This was the worst. I'm glad we're going to this bowl, I guess, but it was out of all the bowls we've been talking about on this show, it is probably the worst timing for me. And I'm gonna be like some of these sports guys. It's all about me, right?
Yes. Yes.
It screwed up a lot of things.
How many times have I heard Pat Dooley in his life tell us about, God, I'm so glad this game's a noon kickoff because I want to get home and watch Auburn play Georgia. Yeah, I agree. QB, you got options, man. And if those are options that might interest this fan over here, I might join you at Old Mo if you want to.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can do that. The problem is on Wednesday and Thursday, I got other stuff going on elsewhere.
Okay.
So that's why I said it's a terrible, terrible time. Barry Sanders holds the NCAA record. Genty will break the record in the next game, most likely. He only needs 131 yards.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well,
thanks for all our.
We got great research departments, roaming research departments that never stop. It's incredible. Yesterday in the NFL was also incredible, QB. 3 quarterbacks yesterday got my attention for having career days. And I've got a stat that is so Buffalo Bills, it totally makes sense. In the Super Bowl era, how many Super Bowls have there been? 50, however many.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl era, teams that have scored 6 touchdowns with 0 turnovers, 6 touchdowns with 0 turnovers are 245-0. And they've never lost until yesterday. Josh Allen accounted for basically 6 touchdowns. He's the MVP. If Josh Allen's not the MVP, there is no such thing as an MVP. Agreed. But Josh Allen was unbelievable. Whenever you need a touchdown, just call Josh. They scored 6 touchdowns and lost to the Rams. Matt Stafford on the other side of the ball with his offensive line had all day to pick them apart with Nakua and Cooper Kupp. Matt Stafford, first ballot Hall of Famer. And then we had a guy on a 1-year contract who's getting paid $10 million and who got inserted because the guy they were thinking about starting hurt himself in a preseason game, J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold, 5 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. That's never happened in Minnesota Vikings history. Sam freaking Darnold. And with Kevin O'Connell calling the plays, you better pay attention to the Vikings, who are likely going to be either a wild card team or, well, they'll be the division winner if Detroit falls. They play Detroit one more time. Detroit's got injury issues and a harder schedule. They've got Buffalo this week. Buffalo was in an impossible situation with the game in L.A. They were it's called a sandwich game. That's why that 3.5-point line was so obvious, but so hard to pull the trigger on. Buffalo had just played a game in the snow. They then got the Detroit Lions in 2 weeks. And in between that, you've got a trip to L.A. That little sandwich game is tough, and they have the Lions coming up. The Rams beat them. The Rams dominated the game. The Rams were winning the whole damn game. They were winning the whole game. The stinking Rams, who are 7-6 and not yet a playoff team. We don't know yet because Seattle's 8-5, but they beat the Seahawks. So all you Ram fans out there, I know there's a lot of them. Get on board.
There was more Buffalo fans there than there were Rams fans.
There always are. That's not our house. LA
it is your house. That's what it says.
It's going to take years, I think, for the LA locals to get on board. Even though this team won a freaking Super Bowl, they sacrificed 2 years after that because they had no draft picks. They got a draft pick this year, and Jared Verse has been everything they wanted. As has Fisk, the other Florida State lineman that plays defense for them, and the Rams somehow beat the Bills. I was
well. I watched a lot of that game, and you're talking about elite quarterback play
and play calling. Sean McVay. It's Sean
ridiculous.
How about what Sean McVay's done with his team? 1-4. They got more injuries than you can count. After their 5th game, they've gone 6-2 since then, and their open day 6-2 because they got healthy. And Stafford has time to throw the ball, and when he does that, QB. You've seen quarterback play. You know it. When you see this guy, Tom Brady could not talk enough about how Stafford.
JC, I want to go back.
He looks over here.
I think we were doing.
I
think we were doing radio back in the day, and remember all the shots were thrown at me on radio. Remember, because I got the question on radio: who's going to be?
I do remember
a better pro.
I do remember this.
Okay, who was it?
Tim Tebow or Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
And you caught living hell. I mean, absolute living hell. This guy can't beat the Gators. Well, he had 4 NFL guys playing secondary against him for Florida. Joe Hayden, Major Wright, and Tim Tebow was everybody's hero.
Well, I mean, it's just
Still is.
fact. You could tell that Matthew Stafford was a pro quarterback the way he threw the football.
But just not that, QB, the way he works off these safeties with his eyes, and then he goes over here, and it's just the things he does. That Brady was pointing out yesterday is a great QB 101 course for all of those trying to learn what it's all about to play that position. Listen to what Tom Brady said watching Matt Stafford yesterday play and pick apart the Buffalo Bills defense. It was artistry. It was magic. This way this guy.
So Tony, our statistician on Gator
unreal.
Stafford beat the Gators in 2007.
Did he? He did. Yeah. Well, did he beat Tebow? He did.
Yeah. All right. So Barone says, no, I'm sorry, Michael on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. All right.
Stafford beat the Gators. I thought he never beat the Gators.
Yeah. He says the portal opens today. Shane, do you think we will make decisions quicker this time, or will Billy take too long with evaluations again? We need to be quicker, I think. Okay. I'm going to address this.
Okay.
How do we know Billy was being too slow making decisions? Right?
I wasn't wearing a headset.
We're not in his meetings. We're not in their evaluations, because here's the thing. If JC is in the portal, right? If JC went into the portal today and the Gators want him, Alabama wants him, Ohio State wants him, and somebody else gets him, does that mean those teams were slow to the table? No. Maybe they got outbid, or that kid wanted to go elsewhere.
That's what it means. Right? Yeah. You don't always know what you want.
I hear where you're coming from, but look, they're on top of all the players that are in the portal. Look, everybody is tampering.
Look,
right? There's tampering going on daily.
It's common. It's very common.
Whoever we have talked to or gonna talk to, I feel like has already been talked to by somebody. And if we 100%. Get them, that's great. If somebody else gets them, that doesn't mean that we were slow to the table.
No, does not mean that at all.
Yeah, because majority of the players that are going to go into the portal, coaches around America know they're going into the portal before the general public knows they're going into the portal.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So, I don't know if that made any sense, but Matt Stafford was on the 07 team.
Okay.
Georgia ran out on the field after they scored. The whole team ran into the end zone that one time after they scored. That was that year.
I just don't remember that.
Yeah.
I did. Well, I do remember Tim Tebow and the Gators emptying the stadium on Georgia.
Yeah.
And I just can't. I guess he's right. Yeah, man, Tony, good job, dude. I'm sorry. We've got so many facts and figures going.
Yeah, because we blow a lot of smoke on this show. Reggie says lots of Texas A&M tampering with our defensive line.
I just don't want Texas A&M tampering with that quarterback. Who is from Texas. It's just like a bad dream. It's not going to happen, right?
So we got a couple of texts here, JC, because you have your school, Alabama, has several guys that just went into the portal. A lot of offensive linemen and wide receivers.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
No, tell me.
Like 2 or 3 of your starting receivers are in the portal.
Is Ryan Williams one of them?
He's not one of them.
Is Jeremy Bernard one of them?
I think Jeremy Bernard's out of
football
years to play.
Okay.
But it's I think their names are somebody put it on here too.
Look.
Law, do you know Law?
Yeah.
He's in it. Odom?
No, don't know.
I think he's offensive lineman.
Okay.
But there's 2 wide receivers I know that are in the portal.
You know what, QB? We always say this: the ones going out are replaced by the ones coming in.
That's true.
And they've got a very highly touted recruiting class. They're fine. They just got to beat these teams that are 6-6. You can't lose to those teams. And I don't know if it was the quarterback's fault or the defense's fault or the coach's game plan's fault, but that happened, and that's why they're not in it. The other thing that happened was that Miami lost to Syracuse, and Clemson got in by beating SMU, who tied the game with 16 seconds and still freaking lost because the kid did not kick the ball through the end zone, and Clemson took it to the 45-yard line. That is bad. You got to kick that ball through the end zone and make them go 75 yards or 45 yards to try a field goal. In the Peachland Dental Picks contest on Championship Saturday, the QB went 4-5.
There were 9 championship games?
Well, we picked 9 games.
Oh,
and then JC went 6-3.
ooh.
And QB, you had Penn State. Why I don't know. And you
Well,
took
that was closer than you thought.
it was only a 7-point game. Good point. We both lost the Georgia game. We both lost the SMU game, even though we could have won it in overtime. But the idiot didn't.
I didn't take Clemson.
No, I know you took SMU.
I always take Clemson.
Yeah, they're your beloved Clemson.
I'm a big Clemson guy.
They are, but
you know what's interesting?
Are they going to beat Texas QB?
I would say no, but here's the thing, and I think we're correct here.
All right.
They have 0 transfers on their football team.
Yeah. He doesn't deal with it. He doesn't deal with the portal. He doesn't deal with a lot of that stuff. And
I think that's kind of fascinating.
They love
in today's world.
They love playing for him. Listen, he's a popular coach, and he's been a winner his whole career. He's had a couple of bumps and bruises along the way, but Clemson did it to Alabama again, man, beating SMU, and SMU did it by coming back in the second half. Otherwise, they're not in the playoffs. We both had. I had Ohio. The Fighting Bobcats are tough. They blew out Miami in Ford Field. And you were really good with that Marshall pick. That was a good one. We both took the Sun Devils, who played without their best wide receiver, and the Scatterboo went nuts. The Scatterburger probably going up to $20.
Oh, I know the game that surprised me was Army and Tulane.
And Army just wiped them out. That Army team's beating Navy, bro. That Army team is beating Navy. And I watched their offense. You know they run the option.
I'm glad you found that out.
Did you know? I watched them for the first time.
That's breaking news.
Anyway,
all right, real quick, Chris.
They're redoing their stadium, by the way, at West Point. The whole east side is going to be redone. It's going to look like a Taj Mahal on the Hudson River. It's incredible. Go Army.
Chris from Cottondale on the Titan MR text line says, "Can we get a better example of someone going into the portal other than JC? Just doesn't seem realistic going after an old school traditional fullback without size, speed, and strength." Stacey, do you know who Chris in Cottondale is?
I don't know, but I like that guy a lot. I used to not like him. I used to think he was a schmuck, but he's a funny dude, man.
Where is Cottondale?
Cottondale is.
I feel like do we drive by that when we go to?
Yes, it's on 231. You're heading right through it on your way to Pensacola, and if you take a right, you're heading to Cottondale, I think. And then,
I thought Cottondale was in Alabama.
Oh, maybe it is. But Chris is a funny dude. I got to hand it to him. At first he kind of irritated me, but I started thinking about it, and I thought, what? He's actually funny. He's got some good stuff, and I love that he loves me. But I'll tell you what, I can block. I'm a blocking fullback, dude. I will hit that linebacker right square in the face. So you got to have guys who can block in the backfield. And your boy Trevor Etienne, we all know he can't block, but Georgia's a lot better with him than without him. You know that, QB.
Well, he played well, but I mean, Georgia moved some folks.
Yeah.
We got here's Robert in Fort Myers says, for the anti-portal mentality, I hope Dabo and company win it all. There's a text here from Jimmy says,
I don't know.
"Hey, do you think we have any chance of getting Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State?" He went into the portal, by the way.
Maybe.
I mean, look.
Hey, it's 50. Look, it's 57 degrees in Gainesville. What is it up there in Columbus right now?
Well, he's from South Florida, but Cottondale is in Florida. I think there's a Cottondale.
Cottondale is the exit.
I got two people here. One saying it's in Alabama, one saying it's in Florida. So.
I think it's on the 231 exit. If you go north, you go to Dothan. If you go south, you go to Panama City. Is that not right? Or is that Cottonwood? I don't know. But whatever. The guy's funny as hell. I hope he keeps watching our show. I like it.
Rob, we got people talking about offensive coordinators now. Says, I don't know if he's hired his clone. He just can't do both at this level. His game day operation is so. I disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody give me an example of what went bad this year. Now, the previous years we've had problems because of special teams. We had, I think, 12 men on the field this year. It didn't really affect the game, but there's plenty of coaches that do it all, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And if he hires offensive coordinator, that's great. But I just don't know. I don't know if he is.
I think it's funny how, depending on how the year goes, we have to determine whether someone needs to change what they've been doing for how many years now. You know, depending on how 1 year goes, we have to decide now that he must change everything he's comfortable with in order to make us happy. And here we are now, happy, at least satisfied. I'll say that, satisfied with the way the season ended, that maybe we don't need to change all the things the guy's been doing for 40 years coaching football. So I think he's going to do what he wants. This is his gig.
So JC Clayton wants to know, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about Tom Herman as your OC at UF?
Tom Herman at UF? Well, first of all, that's not going to happen because Billy's not going to hire an OC. But Tom Herman has, you know, he has fame as
he was very hot, and then he's been fired multiple times.
And then he was not. Right. Yeah.
He's been fired at Houston,
Texas,
and FAU.
Yeah. Well, he was the hot look. No, I'm not sure he was fired at Houston. I think he left Houston to go to Texas.
Okay, you may be right.
He had the opportunity to go to Texas, so he said, well, hell yeah. But it didn't work out, right? It didn't work out for a lot of people at Texas, folks. Before Steve Sarkisian, guess what Texas was? They were about as average or below average as you can get for a school that size in the last 20 years. They were garbage. They were garbage since Colt McCoy and Mac Brown left and Vince Young. That's a long time ago. That was over 15 years ago. So Texas hasn't been all of everything. It's kind of like LSU in the 90s, just off bad. But they found Steve Sarkisian, who came out of the Nick Saban pool of renewal and baptism. And Nick Saban brought him back into the world of coaching, just like Lane Kiffin and just like Butch, whoever. And it's just amazing what Nick Saban has done for college football. And now he's one of the most popular guys on TV because everybody loves his humor. Did you hear his humor on game? I
love Saban.
Guy's funny. He's absolutely got a great sense of humor, I think. And those commercials, those damn Verbo commercials have me rolling. No fun zone. Do not use this grill. You cannot, only 5-minute limits on showers. I think it's great, man. The guy is very popular, and McAfee plays off him out just very well. It's fun to watch those two, and I think he brings an element to that show that they need because McAfee can go off the rails. And McAfee should have lost $400,000 because that kid's field goal hit the post. It hit the post. So anyway, he kept his money.
So Cliff says he grew up in Mariana. It's about 10 miles east of Cottondale and 25 miles south of Cottonwood.
Okay, so I'm close on my geography.
It's good job, JC.
It's Highway 231 that takes you to Dothan or Panama City. That's the Cottonwood or Dale exit, but it's right there. And I'm glad Chris watches our show because I think he's funny.
So Chris I'm going to answer this question. He says, why wouldn't Kerwin agree to be OC for the Gators? Is that a problem, or is the problem that Billy won't hire him?
No.
Well, Kerwin has been in charge of his program
forever.
Every year he's been coaching football since Trinity Catholic, except 1 year. And he was an OC for Charlie Strong.
Never happened.
And he's USF, and it was the worst year of his
coaching
career. He said he'd never do it again.
Right.
Billy probably is not going to hire Kerwin. I think Kerwin likes what he's doing. He likes to be in charge. Again, there's another one. Where is it here? So Rob says Billy was 6-7, 5-7, and 7-5. I don't think it's a stretch to say there's room for improvement. I agree, but that doesn't mean the all fix is on offense. There's still holes all over this football team.
Well, you know what? There is room for improvement, but maybe we start to see it. We have begun to see it since that Georgia game because the defense is playing with more purpose and the offense is getting the ball in the end zone with this quarterback. So, I mean, or at least looking like it.
But again, I try to warn people of this. I need to know who people want to hire as an offense coordinator. You remember, JC?
Yeah.
So the hot OC 2 years ago, when did TCU play in the national title game?
They played, Georgia,
2 years ago, right?
It was when,
Yeah. Okay. Garrett Riley, Lincoln Riley's little brother, was their offensive coordinator.
Okay. Right.
Okay. You know who hired him?
Yeah. It's a team that's not doing so well.
No, they're in the playoffs, but they're not. It's not like they're.
But they weren't last. Yeah.
It would be the Clemson Tigers.
Right. And they got very fortunate to be in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
that's what I'm saying. So my point is just because you hire someone that we could be here if he did hire somebody raising hell. Why did he hire that guy?
Well, when we had Billy Napier on the first bus out of town after the A&M game, we were talking about why would anybody come here to work for him to do it for about half a year. And now it seems like everything's safe and secure. But why would he change if he's got the thing going the way he wants it to? It's just not going to happen. I guess we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to get an offensive coordinator QB. They've got two guys that they call coordinators sitting upstairs.
Well, that just gets them more money.
But we know who's running the show down there on the offense.
And Billy may hire an offensive coordinator. I just don't know who it's going to be, and it could be somebody that everybody that wants him to hire offensive coordinator are going to be going like, why did he hire him?
Why?
All right, JC, before we get you out of here real quick, I want to get this day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. All right, on this day last year, this happened on the same day. The Heisman Trophy went to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And Shohei Ohtani signed a record $700 million deal, which is no longer the largest deal in the history of American sports.
Wow.
You know who has that deal now?
Tell me.
Juan Soto signed for $760-something million with the Metropolitans. He left your squad, JC.
He gets to stay in New York, though.
He left your squad.
Well, a hedge fund guy owns the Metropolitans. He doesn't care about $700-something million, and there's no salary cap in baseball. QB, real quick before I scoot, did you have a chance at all to watch any of that golf at Albany down in the Bahamas?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Okay, well, you would have hated it because they were just naming their score with the shot making on that flat course that has no rough, which is a recipe for 20 under every time these guys play it. Flat courses, no rough, greens that are they can putt these things in their sleep. But Scotty Scheffler is right back to his old tricks again. And I'm just going to give you a number, and you tell me over or under. 9.5 tour wins in 2025 and 1.5 majors. Over or under? And we'll go back. I'm going to write this down because it's
how many tournaments did he win last year?
I don't know, but it seemed like it was damn near close to 10.
9.5 is a lot.
It is, but he's already got one. So
I'm going under because I just would not shock me if he does it.
Okay,
I'm going under both. I think he wins one major only.
One major and say 5 or 6 tournaments.
I think he probably wins 7 tournaments.
7. Wow. Okay. What did I say? 9.5? Okay.
Yeah, you threw a.
It's a big number.
Is that an actual wager that you could do?
Oh, it's at my sports book, but we've got under, so odds are coming down on the over. But okay. Well, we'll see. But the guy is such a robot, QB. I just think everybody who sees him in the lineup on the tee sheet basically says, "Well, we're playing for second." It just feels that way. I know that's not how they think, but boy, does it feel that way when it comes down to it. He's just a machine. He's the best. He's the best golfer we've seen since Tiger. He is.
Oh, Brent's got a good question. He goes, Shane, do you think Badger wishes he would have stayed at Arizona State?
No, he's playing in the bowl game against Tulane.
Well, Arizona State's playing for a national title.
I said that. So I can't.
Oh, right.
But
right.
listen. Arizona State got a can Sparky, man. Kenny Dillingham. I think they go like this, or it's like this. Is it like this? Yeah, that's
pitchfork, JC. A pitchfork.
Pitchfork. They are quite a story. Picked to finish last in the Big 12. Got to hand it to them. Just incredible. And they've got a very favorable, and we'll see. They're
playing good football. They're playing good football. Great
Scatterboo is my guy. Camp Scatterboo, he sells the Scatterburger. All proceeds go to Children's Hospital. $16.95. I think after this game, they'll probably raise the price to $20 for that Cam Scatterburger in Phoenix. Go get you one if you're heading that way.
All right, JC, have a good day.
Yeah, brother. We'll see you Wednesday.
We'll see you on Wednesday. Yes, JC, join us.
I'm going to go work out. I got my creatine going, and I got my protein pounding going on right now. I'm going to go work out, man. I'm down to 187, and I'm going to 180, and then it'll be maintenance. And so from there, I just got to quit the eating binges, and I've done it. So, bro, 180. I'm heading to 180. Heading there.
That's
Gotta
JC
work out
joining
there.
us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent with the health tips of the week. We'll be right back,
All
folks.
right.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI and Imaging, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors are Florida Cracker Kitchen, Comfort Temp, Peachland Dental, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Cogent Bank, UF Bookstores, Florida Victorious, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Electronics World, Miapa Latin Cafe, 84 Lumber, Baker's Sporting Goods, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Gator Bait Media, Bishop's Barbecue, Los Linderos Tequila, JF Hayden Craft Liqueur, Sunshine Holiday Lights. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call Freddie at 352-284-3733.
After serving over 100 families over the past several years, we're super excited to kick off the holiday season. I'm Dylan. I'm Garrett. And we're Sunshine Holiday Lights. We all know how stressful it can be to decorate your home during the holidays. Our services include installation of all material, maintenance, takedown, and storage of the material throughout the year. If you want to spend more time with your family this year, give Sunshine Holiday Lights a call.
Unleash the Inferno.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe. With 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua, you're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. I want to thank JC for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Mark here, no, not Mark, where'd it go? Clayton on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, ETN taking a weak jab at UF after the SEC title game made me sick. I hate that kid. Well, don't. There's no reason to, Clayton. Look, he's a good little player. He left here just like we got good players from other schools. So he's at a very good program that wins a lot of football games. And I know it's not easy to see that, but we don't miss him. We don't miss him at all. Here's a text on the Titan MR text line from Larry. He says, Shane, I keep hearing about Cade Bell being hired. I spoke with Cade a couple of weeks ago. I like I said, I don't break news here. I just don't know if that's going to happen. They had a decent year at Pitt, a lot better than they've had in the past. Cade would have to move his family and roll the dice, and if it worked out, it'd be great for his career. If not, he's going to start over. But again, he's going to want to bring in some of his coaches. Just remember that to run his system. Joseph says Madison County dethroned the Hawthorne Hornets for the 1A state title. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Congratulations to Price Harris and the Cowboys for their title. It was a rematch, and they got Hawthorne, and Cornelius has done a phenomenal job with them. Buchholz lost. I think that may have been all the local teams that had an opportunity. Buchholz lost to a pretty good Osceola team for sure. They were way behind, made a little comeback that fell short. So congratulations to them on a good year as well. Michael says ETN did not have a great stat line this year. He bailed at UF so far, so much at Georgia. He's a good running back, but I like ours better. So anyway. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health OrthoCare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. That's UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I'm gonna shoot Dr. Farmer, who is the team doctor, see what his thoughts are on Carson Beck. I'll be shocked if Carson. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they ever said what his injury was, but I've seen a lot of people tear stuff like that when an arm is having so much torque going forward and it just stops. Hopefully it's not too severe, but I thought Gunnar Stockton did a good job for sure. Here's a text on the Titan Mark text line from Joshua. He says, Shane, who do you think is going to win the 12-team playoffs and win the national title? I honestly haven't looked at the brackets closely, but I do think the best two teams are Georgia and Oregon. Georgia just finds ways to win, man. Their defense comes up with plays when they need to. I'm not sure why Sarkisian even called a running play. They could not block the Georgia front. I would have thrown it every down, every freaking down. I think Oregon is a very efficient offensively. Dylan Gabriel is so accurate and knows where to go with the football. They don't have a whole lot of big plays down the field. It's a lot of dinking and dunking and letting their speed and getting guys into space cause problems. So I would lean those two teams right now. Andy wants to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellow Law. Shane, do you think Rashada takes a snap at Georgia? I do not. I do not think he does. Dan, yeah, congratulations to Coach Tim Walton. He made he's college softball Hall of Fame. I don't think it was the college softball, just some kind of softball Hall of Fame, but one of the best coaches ever for an elite program that he has built here at the University of Florida. And he's got a squad this year, folks. They're going to be very good. Very, very good. People are talking about here about the backup quarterback. Yeah, Gunnar Stockton, 4 or 5-star, won a lot of games in high school. He's been there. I think he's a sophomore or junior. He's been on the roster for a while. But he's a competitor and did a really nice job for the Dogs for sure. Text on the Titan Mark text line from Willie. He says, Shane, in your opinion, do you think the Chiefs win it again? I don't understand how they keep winning games. But they keep winning games because of their head coach and they got the best player in football. Pat Mahomes knows how to win. They're not winning dominantly like they used to because they're struggling. They can't block anybody. The two Gator tackles are struggling blocking DJ Humphries and Jawan Taylor. He's getting sacked and hit way too much. But they find ways to win, man. And their defense is very, very good. So, I don't know if I want to predict them winning the Super Bowl, but I think they probably will get there. I mean, Buffalo is outstanding, but they're fun to watch. I'm a big Mahomes guy. All right, I'll let the tech guy know about the tequila commercial. Says it's too loud. Sorry about that. Brent says Georgia versus Notre Dame should be a good one if they can get past Indiana. I don't think Notre Dame will have any problems with Indiana, quite honestly. I wonder what the weather's going to be like. So should be fun. Hope everybody enjoyed today's program. We'll be here tomorrow with Buddy and got a couple other folks lined up to try to be guests with football season over with. People are kind of taking some time off. So I hope everybody understands and appreciate you chiming in today. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.